I'm Frank Prince from Southwest Manitoba. I sit on the Manitoba Pulse and Soybean Board, as well as Soy Canada. And in January of 2026, I went on a trade mission to China, Taiwan, and Japan. The biggest takeaway I had was how well respected we were on the world market for soybeans, especially IP soybeans. The second thing was how important it was to go and meet your customers, see them, talk to them. We had talks, and you would have at least 50 different buyers in a room with you there that wanted to hear what you were saying and ask you questions about what you're growing and what your rotation was. That was definitely huge. America sends all of their non-GMO soybeans, mixes them all together and sends them there. So the quality differs significantly from one load to another load, where in Canada, we keep each individual variety separated. And then when they call up, they want to buy a certain variety for a certain tofu, a certain soy sauce, and they get that variety. So they're getting consistent products from us. From being the guy from out west, and to get to a country where they tell you that your IP soybeans are the best that they can, they bring in. They name the varieties they like using for different tastes. You got to have the right soy sauce or the right meal. Big thing is protein, whether it's in the soy milk, whether it's in the tofu. But then there's the taste and the flavor, which comes from being able to use the same variety year after year. In China, tofu is a staple protein. Tofu was their protein source. So tofu is huge. And tofu there is much better than tofu in Canada. I wasn't a tofu fan. I shouldn't say that. I've had tofu in Canada and didn't like it. The tofu over there, I ate and actually was enjoyable. Their biggest question was about protein and quality. Quality was quality was huge going into the IP market or the non-GMO market. Then they just wanted to know that you could grow them sustainably and you weren't destroying the land, that you were responsible with your equipment, your chemicals. When prices ran up a few years ago, IP beans struggled to hold their place because the premiums weren't high enough. So it was reinforcing why we have premiums for IP soybeans and how that affects what farmers grow and don't grow, because at the end of the day, guys aren't going to use or grow something that doesn't make them money. I thoroughly enjoyed being the guy from out west. It was very educational. I learned a lot. I seen that the possibility of expansion for IP soybeans in Western Canada. We could start growing significant IP soybeans that could go west to those markets. The biggest thing with IP soybeans is you can't spray Roundup on them. Well, with us using less Roundup to start with and different chemicals, now the weeds aren't a problem. It's a huge market for Manitoba. We could be growing more IP soybeans. There's a market there, there's premiums there. And it's the quality of job that we do. I see that lots of places where the quality of wheat we produce, the quality of everything that you do, it's all quality based. In IP soybeans, Canada is very competitive. We have a lot of people out there looking to get in to the market, our market, but our quality is second to none. And freight is respectively cheap. And we're located we're way closer than Europe is to Asia for those markets. And then on the second side, GMO soybeans sell at a discount because of the protein. When we were in China, we actually looked at some Western Canadian soybeans that had just got delivered, and their biggest thing was cheap, cheap, cheap. How can I what's your price? And you need to be the cheapest because which was interesting because if they just blend them off with other beans to make their protein requirements, our protein may be lower, but our feed quality, we still get the same gains per day with some research that Manitoba Pulse and North Dakota has been involved in. On the farmer side of it, there is the agronomics of soybeans, the sustainability, the less nitrogen needed, And if we start crushing more GMO beans at home for fuel, the demand's only going to go up and up. So there is an opportunity for, that's the birds upstairs. Or the wind just shifting. There's opportunity. There's lots of opportunities for soybeans. As we sit in this elevator, it has an 11-car siding that's not going anywhere, and it has a massive cleaning plant that hasn't been used in the last 10 years on the other side of that wall. We've always wanted to get into shipping grain out of here, and it's a market that we could get into. That we have 11-car siding. We could, we can't do anything container, instantly, but you could do bulk shipments out of here really easily. So for the farm, yeah, we've looked, it definitely put IP soybeans closer to the top of the list to grow or try. And on the commercial side, it was like, hey, there's another bit, avenue we could go down that would make IP soybeans even easier to grow in this area. So the next steps following this trade mission, as a grower, it's to report back what we're doing right here. But from the organization standpoint, it's an ongoing thing. This isn't just this isn't a once a year thing. This is an ongoing conversation. In a day and age where it's so easy to hop on a Zoom call, it's nice to sit down and have a conversation. One of the side conversations that popped up for me was talking about conveyors. They were trying to load containers with flakes of something. And they were like, "Oh, it's so hard work. Do you know of a conveyor that we could use?" And they had a picture, of a backhoe, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, we have 4 of those on the farm," and it really hooks up, who they're buying it from, that you have the same values as them, that you respect, that they want quality and it's food grade. It's really maintaining our space as really. I'll be that guy and say, number one, IP soybean exporter.